What does Russia and China really want? This is the real threat. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching Yankee Stacking. Does Russia want to take over all of Ukraine? Yep, Putin's made that abundantly clear. Does he want more territory, maybe more nations? Well, maybe. Time will tell. How about China? Does China want Taiwan? You better believe it does. Will that be the next hotspot soon? Maybe. Again, time will tell. But what do both of these countries really want? What is their goal? I think it's monetary supremacy. And I'm going to explain this in just a few minutes. But in general, let's remember that the old adage is true. Money makes the world go round. As Mayor Amschel Rothschild is purported to have said, "Give me control of a nation's money supply, and I care not who makes its laws." After the end of World War II, the United States, which at that point controlled most of the world's gold, pledged at Bretton Woods to fix the value of the dollar to gold at $35 an ounce. In fact, side note, I don't know if you know this, but gold is still officially set at $42.22 an ounce by our U.S. government. Then they told other countries to fix their exchange rate to our dollar, making it the central spoke of the system. We had the gold. Our dollar was as good as gold. And that's what we sold to the entire world. Now, the Bretton Woods Agreement is long dead, but the dollar still remains the international reserve currency. That status with our dollar is an enormous privilege, one the average U.S. citizen has absolutely no clue about. In fact, it sounds like our Fed chairman, Jerome Powell, is clueless as well.
It's been announced as a result of the Ukraine war and other disagreements that Russia and China are now moving to trade completely in their currency, no longer using the dollar. And Pakistan has flown in to meet with Russia. There's some talk that they may be part of it. What effect would that have on the U.S. economy if China and Russia no longer use the dollar?
Well, we do benefit from being the reserve currency for the main reserve currency for the world. And that really is because we have open capital accounts and the rule of law, and we have inflation, over a long period of time under control, so that the dollar preserves its value.
Stop. The dollar preserves its value?
The question is, if some want to move away from the dollar, what will be the effect on us? I don't think it's something you would feel right away. Over time, they would have to create an economic ecosystem whereby another currency becomes, a better currency for them to use. Over time, though, it would I suppose it would diminish our status as the reserve currency. It's also possible to have more than one large reserve currency, and there have been times when that was the case, and so it's not really clear.
Either he doesn't get it or he's just deflecting, lying. The entire bubble economy is built on the foundation of that privilege. If the dollar isn't the reserve currency, we won't be able to import trillions of dollars worth of stuff. Okay, we're going to have to create it ourselves, and we can't. Okay, not for decades, even if we start rebuilding our manufacturing base today. And all of our debt would flood onto our shores. And it's an exorbitant debt. It's all bottled up in treasury notes and bonds. And they're made artificially attractive because we are the reserve currency. The United States also has the enviable privilege of borrowing in its own currency. So if we, devalue our currency, which we constantly do, and I don't know what Powell's smoking, it means we devalue our debt. Devalue the currency, devalues the debt. Nice trick, huh? Countries like Argentina can't do that. They are at the mercy of whichever direction the dollar is moving. And like our federal government, American companies heavily benefit from this reserve currency status too. They can do transactions in dollars without ever having to pay the cost of converting them into other currencies. That is a huge privilege, but it's also a political weapon. I've heard it called a weapon of economic mass destruction. And the U.S. has wielded this weapon with strident hubris over the years, especially with financial sanctions like what we're doing right now with Russia. So this privilege and power with the U.S. dollar causes extreme jealousy around the world. And none have more jealousy towards us, I believe, than Russia and China.
I want you all to imagine a world in which America is not the #1 superpower, where forks are irrelevant, and where every man, woman, and child is expected to learn how to play the cello. Did you know that in China, there are 56 cities with over 1 million people? You know how many we have here? 9.
I say we bomb them. By 2020, they're going to be the world's largest economy, and they're getting a taste for protein. We'll all starve.
Dwight was right. Well, at least, about China eventually owning us. But understand the nuance here. Russia and China don't want to destroy us. They want to defeat us. Let me say that again. Russia and China don't want to destroy us. They want to defeat us. They don't want to create some barren nuclear wasteland in the West. They want power and control. And that all boils down to the US dollar's world currency dominance. That's the target. And I cannot state this more strongly or earnestly. Now, some incorrectly believe that these tough sanctions against Russia is some masterstroke of government genius that will cement the dollar's dominance. I read that actually recently, and I completely disagree. This latest paper tiger move will simply succeed in pushing a new monetary axis of evil. I can see an emboldened China with Russia, Iran, Pakistan, many other nations potentially in the Pacific Rim, choosing at some point to risk the excruciating economic pain to defeat the dollar. Some claim that, China's economy is pathetically weak, that they're in economic decline. They couldn't pull it off, Yankee. But I say that a creditor nation is in much better shape to handle economic shock than can the world's largest debtor nation, us. Some say the yuan can never be the dominant currency. Maybe. And yeah, the ruble is complete trash right now. However, I say a gold-backed digital currency could be a game changer. Do I think, Putin is the Antichrist? Do I think it's, the beginning of World War III? No and no. I don't want to go too far into the weeds geopolitically. I mean, I'm probably going to get some people upset here. But I still think that Putin's horrible aggression is going to stop at the Ukrainian borders. And he'll potentially remain there for years, maybe decades. I don't know. I could be wrong. He could totally miscalculate. He could take on NATO. I think that would be suicide. But I think what he's done is used somewhat of an understandable concern over the violent Ukrainian government and the corrupt oligarchy in charge as a pretext to absorb control over the entire country. He did it in Crimea. And I think he's going to install a puppet leadership in line with Moscow. I don't trust Putin as far as I could throw him. He's evil. Don't misunderstand that. But Ukraine's also a hot mess, and they've been that way for years. I grieve for the innocent people caught in the conflict there, and we all of us, should be compassionate to them in giving to their plight. All right? But we should not get involved militarily. Those are my opinions. Okay, feel free to just tell me yours right down there in the comments below. But let's just get back to my original argument. Do not think for a moment that both Russia and China aren't preparing for the end of this 77-plus year dollar dominance by America. They are laser focused on it. They've been amassing and continue to amass tons and tons of gold. China is pushing hard on centrally controlled digital currency. And mark my words, the ascendancy of CBDCs is going to happen so fast. I mean, logarithmically fast. Blow your mind fast. Prep, food and water, electrical generation, cell protection, etc. You got to do that. And if you're just starting your stacking journey, grab the deals that you can get, okay, at any time, right? I'm trying to do that myself. But if you've stacked for a long time, like I have, consider backing off your stacking intensity for just a little while longer, a few more weeks maybe. We'll see. I still think there could be a significant pullback if things start to de-escalate some, all right? But be ready to ramp up if and when that occurs. And everyone should understand the need for stacking silver and gold as necessary wealth insurance. Well, I hope you appreciated that video. Please like it and subscribe too if you haven't already. And as always, I hope your day is A-OK.